says it's going live. I don't know if it's actually live yet. We are live. Got some fancy new stickers on the laptop. Welcome to the show, Markelle.
Hi, thanks.
Glad you were here. We get to talk about a project that you're doing. I'm obviously gonna do whatever it is that I do. You know, this is the Meaningful Jackson show where anything goes. No, that's not true. Not anything. I don't want people on here being nasty. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm just playing. No, man, I miss the days when we had X-rated conversations. All my friends who would call in and talk their stuff, but they don't call in anymore. So now we just get to all. This is like a race relations show. How can we make race relations better? We brought Markelle. No, I'm just playing. Markelle is not here to help me fix race relations. That's not what we're doing. We are live on Track Talk Radio. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting where to look. Sometimes it's on the table. Sometimes it's way over there. Sometimes it's on the TV. Sometimes there's content on the TV. We're kind of watching a movie, half doing the show, but we are going to talk about her project. I'm super excited about that. It is called the I Am Right Now Project.
Yeah.
2020. This is the worst year in the history of years. No, that's probably not true. This really isn't that bad. And it makes for great opportunities like this to pop up. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I want to say that the year sucks, but then I'm like, it really is not that bad. There have been worse years, that's for sure. What do you think?
I mean, yeah. In our lifetime, it's definitely like it's top 5 worst.
It's top 5.
At least,
top 5
maybe top
years.
3 in my 30 years. I mean, think of other tragedies we lived through. The big one was 9/11. Can you think of anything other than this year and all the stuff that's going on with the pandemic and everything that you remember?
I mean, I've had to live through several hurricanes being from the panhandle of Florida. So there's definitely been some. I mean, 2006 was a tough year, but it was one of those ones that I say that because it was tough for like our whole area was devastated. Like a lot of people didn't have homes. Like then jobs were done. You know, it was like a whole thing. You know, hard to find gas, hard to find food, hard to find shelter. So when I think of things like that, that's what I think. I'm like, that's devastating. Not to say that 9/11 wasn't devastating because it's like, you know, it's the loss of life and the Twin Towers, but there's something about that kind of makes that, like that kind of almost becomes very specific to like if you were a family member of a victim who was lost in that's like very hard for you. It's hard for us like as a country, I get that, but that's still like very specific to like people. But this was like a year of like everybody's going home. We all have the potential to lose our jobs. Like we're all gonna have to live under these circumstances. So I'm thinking of in terms of something that's like, and this is worldwide. I mean, we watched other countries go through it. Like we were literally watching people all do the same thing. So like when I think of that, that's like severe devastation. Just to, you know, I'll only be 34 this year, so I'm not even like super old by any means. But like it's hard to think of anything as crazy as this ever happened. And then right on the tail end of it is all this like police reform, like, and it's just so crazy. Some of the things that, you know, like even tonight we're going to talk about this young man named Elijah McClain, another young black guy who's fallen victim, you know, to this police brutality stuff, which is crazy because it's like, are we not like trying to get this shit under wraps? It's so crazy. Oh, hold on. We got to intro the show. Hold on. Hey, thank you for tuning in to the Meaningful Jackson Show. We're live on Track Talk Radio. We have my dear friend Markelle Gallagher in the building. Markelle, you are a photographer, but you are also a... That was your cue.
Woman?
Well, yeah.
I'm lots of things. Coach?
Yeah. No, what's like
for?
your other job title?
Oh, I work in a counseling center at a high school, and I also coach at that high school.
What, like, give your, like, rep yourself. Like, who are you? Be like, yo, I'm so and so.
I work at the high school I went to. I work in the counseling center, running that show, in that office, and then I'm the head coach of the women's soccer program.
Hey.
And the head boys track coach, where I kind of, so I've been coaching. I think this is going on like my 9th year coaching.
9th year coaching. Okay,
I want to say, it's been a long time. I started coaching really young, so it's been a while.
Okay, so I want to say this. I did ask Markelle to announce herself because there's something that we are going to talk about today that we've already talked about on a previous show that kind of has something to do with, she knows some people who are, we're going to talk about scandals and disrespect and, people who just can't get their act right in regards to how they feel about Black Lives Matter and all that. And, if people losing their jobs, and is there an apology yet from this guy or just a resignation?
It was, from what I've read, just a resignation. I haven't checked my work email. I haven't even seen anything like from the district yet. So
yeah, we're not worried about that. They're not really going to do nothing.
No.
I mean, maybe they'll let him go. Well, he already resigned, so It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He already quit. But still, we're going to get into what we're talking about. Just another one of these goofs who made some poor comments via the internet and then, was about to lose his job behind it, but then just quit the job. Better to quit than, end up getting fired to look stupid. But yeah, we're going to talk about, the U.S. government giving away $1.4 billion worth of stimulus money to people who are deceased, which is so crazy. I'm always confused. Obviously, if they sent the checks, they can't cash the checks. So they probably just, after so many days, you don't cash it, they'll cancel it out. Not a big deal, but it's still always like, I'm always tripped out when I always hear people saying America, we're in so much debt, we're so poor and da 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 da. But then we just tossed $1.4 billion away. Y'all didn't check to see what was good with some of these people?
Is it possible?
Why not reallocate those funds? You could have gave me more money. I'm being selfish right now.
Is it possible that some of the people died while the money was going out, and that could count for some of that?
I can't imagine that much of it would be for that. You're talking from the amount of time that it was announced that we were getting stimulus checks to the amount of time that people first received them?
Well, yeah.
How many people die per day on average? What's the number got to be?
I mean, obviously, crazy? It's not all of the money. But
yeah. But I don't even think it's like 100,000 worth. I can't even imagine it was that much. You're talking about a week, 2-week period. That would be a ton of people dying at $1,200.
Yeah, but I'm also trying to think people who had direct deposit, if accounts weren't tied and stuff, maybe, and it just hit the direct deposit and people didn't, you know what I mean? I don't know, but it can't account for all of it. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's interesting. 1.4 billion. Where did they get the money? We'll also talk about Sean King. Sean King is what is Sean's title? He's an activist. I want to say, I really don't know his story. I will say some of the things that he appears to do look like things I would be in line with, because it all looks like it's in the effort to make sure that life is preserved. I'm not sure what his story is. I think he is somebody who was victim to police brutality and then just was like, maybe his story was crazy and then like caught some buzz, and like now he like, it's his life's mission to put these people to shame. And apparently because he has been doing that, there's like some group of like former police officers or whatever, and they're like plotting to like murder old boy. So now like the FBI is involved and all that. That shit's crazy. I don't understand. Like, you want to murder somebody because they want to speak out on behalf of, you know, the right thing to do. Like, don't kick the shit out of people when you arrest them, and then you don't have people who are trying to, you know, unravel your entire structure. I mean, listen, this is going to sound so crazy, but I'm going to say this. I always say stuff like this almost about everything. Because if you ever just play the role of devil's advocate, you have to look at it from this perspective too. These cops are so stupid because for the longest time, you've been able to do all these things and like you had things in play to where you weren't getting caught. You really only started getting caught because of the camera stuff, and then also because some of these officers were getting too greedy. You got people who are trying to rack up multiple kills under their belt. Like, y'all could have been discreet, because some of these things, like based on how the laws are set up to protect cops, they literally write it up to where y'all can do this to where it's legal, and y'all still fucked it up. Come on, man. You got too many dummies on the job. And so, you know, now they're like in a group online plotting to kill a guy. These are people who work in law enforcement. Like, how much more dumb do you get? Where we have literally people out here rioting and protesting because of police brutality, and then in the same time, we still have cops who are going out on their shifts daily, committing police brutality. And then you have a group of cops online plotting a murder of a guy who's speaking out against police brutality. These people are fucking stupid. We'll also talk about young Elijah McClain, 19-year-old young man. Where's he fight? He's in Milwaukee, I think. And he got killed by police. And another young brother who's on the ground talking about he can't breathe and he's throwing up, vomiting. Let him die, man. All for what? For nothing. And then we're gonna talk to Markelle, and we're gonna listen. Markelle does photography. She's looking to book some shoots. Have people been reaching out to you?
Yeah, actually, I've gotten some interest lately. Yeah. It's hard with the shutdown though, and trying to.
Yo, better get your mask game up and then get these photos.
Yeah.
I feel it. That's why I'm glad that, like, you know, we're able to interact in a space to where I don't have to be like, oh, I can't do the shoot because of the shutdown. Like, I was still able to get my photos, man. And I was still able to be a part of the project. And I'm glad that, you know, was I the first one, second one, third one? I was first. Hey, if you ain't first, you're last, buddy. I love that. Yeah, man, it feels good to be first, man. I can't wait till we're able to, like, showcase these. And shit, man. Let's see. While we're waiting, what time is it? I gotta check the time. It's only 7:15. I figured let's lead off the show. Let's talk about the project. We were gonna get into everything else, but I figure why not? Let's just get into the project, and then we'll take a short music break, and then we'll get into the rest of the show. So, Markelle, let's get it right into it. What inspired you to create this project?
For me, it was looking for another opportunity to do something right now. A lot, you know, there's a lot of people who protest. This was the first year, like, I actually was able to protest where I felt comfortable and I was with people I trusted, and it felt like the right fit. And it's not the right fit for everybody. especially during a pandemic, like with people who just can't be in crowds or, whatever the case may be. You can sign petitions. There are different ways to kind of go about supporting a cause. But since I've started, my little photography business about a year ago, felt like a good opportunity to use something that I consider like my craft for good. So I kind of started talking with some people I know, some coworkers, some friends about how to kind of approach a project that supported like the Black Lives Matter movement. And it kind of just blossomed into what I'm calling the I Am Right Now project. So you as a part of it, I mean, you kind of saw firsthand what it's about. I've learned that the easiest way for people to understand what all this is about and how important it is to people is just to hear stories. And a lot of people don't have access to those things. Some people live in rural communities where they don't have a lot of diversity and they don't see these things. And it's one thing to, see something on TV and to be, horrified, saddened, whatever you feel. But when you can get a story from someone that feels more personal, it hits different. And for me, that's what it's done is I've learned more about some of my closest friends in the last couple weeks with them sharing things with me than I knew about them before, because they just weren't in a place where they were comfortable enough to share, or maybe I wasn't in a good place to receive it. So the project is, it's kind of a couple pieces. One, I've been gathering stories. So I've had people who have written them down as to what, Black Lives Matter means to them and what's going on now, their experiences and those things. So I can educate myself. And then it kind of helps me set the tone for the shoot as to who they are, what it should feel like, what they want it to represent. And then the photo shoot itself is 2 parts, where the first part of it, or second, however you look at it, I think for you, we waited till the end to do just some portraits with a sign, or however someone wants to share Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, mine are dope.
Yeah. And we used a phone for yours and an image on a phone, which is very fitting. So I've asked people to make it creative. I know some artists who are joining. I've got some kids who are going to join, who I think might incorporate some like Legos, writing it out. So some fun stuff like that. And then like a kind of a more stylized, personalized portrait session with something that's important to them, what they want to remember about this time right now, how they felt, what they were doing. Yeah. And so, the facets of this are, one, to have a collection then at the end of photos from a bunch of different people from all walks of life, with all different experiences, all different ages, whether they're biracial, whatever the case may be, how different all the people look with the same message, how different that message could look, and it still means the same thing. Yeah. And then portraits of how different all those people actually are when they come together. And and the sessions are free because why wouldn't they be? It was important to me. I've got releases and stuff because I obviously want to share again, because I think sharing and
you share any of my photos?
Not from that yet. Yeah, I'm waiting. Yeah, I'm waiting on those. Still working on I'm still processing those. Yours will be the first ones though, because you were the first. I'm not kicking the table. I'm stretching my legs.
Feet don't even reach.
No, I'm not. I'm little.
Oh, this is shaking. Yeah, man. What's crazy is that the project was super dope. I liked it. Even for me, who's someone who's not like it's not that I'm a fan. Like, I like I love the movement, and I love what it stands for. I don't like how like it's turned into a thing where like any and everybody just like, I don't know, like people just use it. Like we've seen that there's like a Trader Joe's out here somewhere in Seattle where like all the white staff were trying to use the, BLM movement as a way for them to like maintain their jobs or some shit, like some crazy shit, man. Like so people like abuse it, but I love that like it's how strong it is, how powerful it is. It's that voice, it's that way to like, especially now, like when if you see someone who has the fist or like they're putting a hashtag, like you almost can kind of be like, huh, an ally. Maybe. I don't know. It's tough to tell. Some of these people out here faking. This is a show where I call people out for faking. But for the most part, it is super dope that like it feels like there was something that was created many years ago. And I know there's all these conspiracy theories, how people like there's people who think it's a hate group and that it's like I don't view it as that. I view it as like this is a group of people who just feel like my life as a black man just matters. And not more than anybody else's, but it's basically like, them being like, yo, we care about this nigga. Leave him alone. That's it. I don't do all the like, people want to get into it and try to be like, oh, it's kind of like Panthers and it's kind of this and kind of that. I'm like, nah, man, I'm not buying that. I don't take it as that. For me, it's not that. It's just, yeah. It's just letting you know, man. Like I don't take my life lightly. And neither should you. That's it. But this I Am Right Now project is dope. One of the pictures dropping. Is there an IG page of calendar? What's the deal? What's going
on? So, like I said, yours will be the first ones. I'm actually working on getting a website. I've been kind of slow getting things started. Like this has been kind of just a side gig.
It's all process, no big deal.
Yeah, taking baby steps. So I've got a good IT friend who's gonna hook me up. Hopefully this weekend I can start getting a website. Even if what happens is this is the only thing that's on that website, I think it's important to have something that's accessible for the people who allow the sharing. Again, this is for the people in the project.
Yeah.
But if we can share that, I want to have it in as many places as possible. And that'll be a more comprehensive look at everything. Social media will be just kind of like little tastes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll be posting things on both my Facebook and my Instagram under Markelle EG Photography. And that's pretty easy to find because there are not a lot of photographers named Markelle, believe it or not.
It's under on Facebook as well?
Yeah, so on Facebook it's Markelle EG Photography. On my Instagram it's markelle.eg.photography. Nice and long. So that right now is where I'm hoping to get stuff out. It's also a really good way just to connect.
Yeah, for sure.
I've had people reach out who I don't know already, which is cool as it's picking up speed. Yeah, so I'm getting to meet new people, which I love, and hear new stories and new experiences. And so I think it's going to just kind of add to the whole deal. It's different when someone shares something with you than when someone you don't know is willing to share and engage in this project like this. So it's been really cool. I've learned a lot. It's helped make me a better person already, and like I'm just like literally I'm one shoot in. So yeah, it's exciting.
That's dope.
Yeah,
and honestly, if there's anybody who ends up being a part of the project that would like to come on the Meaningful Jackson show and share their stories, I am welcoming people to come sit in, or you can call in. If you come to the house, you got to wear a mask, and you have to bring snacks, and you have to bring your own toilet paper. But if you want to come in via Zoom or Discord or whatever I can use to get you on video, we'll do that because we'd love to showcase, you and your stories. Every story is important. I hate to say it, but I feel like the website, although we would want it to be there forever, it's something that will be because, fortunately, these stories will continue, which is the most painful and disheartening thing, but it's just a fact. It was happening before our time. It'll happen after our time. So I think something like this is good because it will give people the opportunity to be able to view something, view stories. And you think like with anything, a lot of times people are afraid to come forward and say how they feel about certain things. And then things like this come along and then it just can spark something. I mean, like I said, we hate it that it's under these circumstances, but you think of these things like how to spark a movement. Like it just takes a little bit of flame and fire, and then it's well, those are the same things, but it just takes a little bit of that, and then it just goes up from there, man. You're good to go. Awesome. I am right now 2020. Book your shoot now. Say your stuff one more time.
So Facebook, Markelle EG Photography. On Instagram, markelle.egphotography, and my email that you can email me directly, and that's how I've been getting information, additional info and all that. No requirements to join the project if you just have more questions. Markelle EG Photography at gmail.com.
At Gmail, I like it. All right, man. That's super dope. Like I said, I was a part of this project. I wouldn't rep it if I thought it was ass. And like I said, if you end up being a part of the project, I would love for you to come on and tell your story on the show. If you would like to, like I said, you can come to the house, wear a mask, or you can join via an app or something. There's always something, man. I'm old as shit. I don't be knowing. I don't know. Jeff will help me get you to be on the call. We'll make it work. All right, man. This is the Markelle Jackson Show. We're going to take a short break real quick. If you're on Track Talk Radio right now, you're about to be listening to this. We got some Trey songs queued up, of course. There's always Trey songs on this station. Some Wiz Khalifa, some Snoop Dogg, and then we'll be back after that, man. It's the Markelle Jackson Show. We're live on Track Talk Radio as well as YouTube. YouTube is only Tuesdays and Thursdays, but on Track Talk Radio, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday from 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's lit. See how easy it is? We're still on. Don't say anything crazy. I have more questions though. So let's see. We already answered all these. This is a great show, isn't it? Oh, we got people in the chat. Hey, let's see. Shout out. Hey,
that's my little cousin.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Tactic. I think so.
Is it?
That's his handle on his Instagram.
Or what if you were just saying some random person is your cousin and
Shout
that's nobody you know?
If that's who it is, yes, it is.
Are you Markelle's cousin?
Yeah.
Blink twice if you're in trouble.
That's my little cousin.
Oh shit. Well, shout out to Markelle's little cousin. Markelle, I'm excited for the project to drop, man.
I am too.
When are my pictures dropping?
Well, my plan is to work on them. I might actually work on some tonight. I'm spending a little more time on these than, not that I don't spend time on other photo projects. Editing is one of my favorite parts. But what I'm trying to do is find a way, because all the shoots are going to be so different. I want to find a way to stylize them so when they come together, they look like they could have been kind of one shoot, if that makes sense.
Oh, that's super dope.
Yeah, so I'm playing with I've been downloading some new editing software. This is really, on top of all the good things, for me as a person that I'm learning from this, it's a really good opportunity because I'm going to get so much at one time to really grow my skill and be able to produce better photos for the project and for clients in the future. Which is really exciting that like I have an opportunity to do it for something that means something. Yeah. So I'm hoping to get them probably early mid next week. I'd like to share a few of yours.
Hey, that'd be dope.
Yeah, I think it'll help too. It's one thing to like read. I mean, you saw it's like the info I send is like a novel, super thorough. But I think it's gonna be different when people start seeing it and what it looks like, because like images are a little more powerful than me just like telling people, hey, this is really cool. When someone sees it, I think that's gonna help people who might be on the fence. And so I think I'm gonna have like 3 shoots next week. A couple of friends, a coworkers, kids. Super excited.
We might have to get these people on the show.
Yeah, I got some people who would probably definitely join the show just to, chop it up and
come chop it up on the show, get roasted. Okay, well, real quick, I did want to ask a question. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but with everything going on, and you've been having conversations with a lot of your close friends, what do you feel is like the one thing you've learned about your Black friends and about where they're at with their mental state?
I think for me, I feel like I've always been a person that people feel like they can kind of talk to. I do just feel like not just my Black friends, but in general, I tend to be receptive of a lot of those things. And maybe it's because I talk a lot, so people feel like they can talk a lot to me. But the thing that's been the most shock, like I know everybody, like I know they're hurting. I can see that and I can feel that. My roommate is Black and like his tone shifted. And
shout out to Kev.
Yep, Kev. My best friend, like her tone completely shifted. And what's shocked me the most about all of it is I've been really close with these people. Like my best friend, I mean, we go back to like 9th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade. And there were things that happened during our friendship that I didn't know about, like ways that she was racially profiled, things that were said and done to her. Things like my roommate, things that were said and done to him. And we've lived together for a year and we talk, regularly. Just the things that they didn't feel like they could share with me for whatever reason, even though they shared lots of other, it wasn't like we were tertiary friends. They shared lots of other intimate parts of their life with me. And I don't know if I'm responsible and I just wasn't receptive, maybe because I didn't speak up or maybe I didn't say like, how are you? I think white people just don't think to ask unless something like this happens because we don't deal with it. So for me, it's recognizing that like everybody who knows someone who's Black, they have a story. At least one that would absolutely shock and horrify them. Like,
yeah, feels like everybody has one.
I mean, really.
And I know most, if not all, of my Black friends have one.
Right.
I have multiple stories.
I mean, I told you I was on the phone the other night with a friend from college, and we were really close in college. I mean, we shared a lot. We've kept in touch, and I mean, he was sharing things with me that happened like while we were in college that he, and he told me, he goes, I wanted to tell you these things. Like I wanted to share these parts of my life with you, but I didn't feel like I could, not because of you, but because I just wasn't sure I could share those things. And and so I think everybody's just at a point now where I think it's easier with social media to get those things out and to actually feel heard. But
well, it's that, and some of it is now Black people I don't want to speak for any of your friends, but I would almost assume that we're all fed up with like protecting you guys, which is probably why we never said stuff in the past, because it was like protecting the those potential opportunities for you to feel guilty about what happened to us because you share that same skin tone with the oppressor. And, you know, especially when you're friends with a black person, like, you never want that black person to feel like, oh my God, do they think that I would ever do that? Like, and so a lot of black people probably don't even want to say anything because then the white person, like, they take that on and they make it all about them. We just choose to stay quiet. Now we're at that point where it's just like, well, fuck, man, like, we might as well say something because we're about damn tired of y'all. And it's time to no longer hide feelings. I can say I did that in the past.
Yeah.
There are several people that I have, you know, had current, you know, past and even, you know, whatever relationships with where, you know, we were friends, we had good dynamic, everything was fine. But when it came to this stuff, I could never admit my true feelings to them about certain things because it was too closely connected to this. And it's tough because some people, when they hear the stuff about the race, they feel like they can fix it. And a lot of times white people's way of fixing it is by being like, well, let me give you words of affirmation. And what they do is they go, well, I promise you that I'm not this and I'm not that. And it's like, yeah, but like, if I thought that about you, I wouldn't even be coming to you with this. I wouldn't talk to you. I wouldn't even entertain you in any space whatsoever.
Yeah.
But I don't think a lot of them recognize that. They don't know what to do when they begin to feel guilty. So they automatically go to the, well, that's not me type of deal. And it's like, yeah, nigga, we know. We know it's not you. That's why we're friends with you.
I think a lot of times too, and I know like this can apply to other scenarios, but when you don't share and you don't do that, you don't have to wonder if that person is going to believe you and take your side, or if that's when you lose that friend. And I think the thing for me right now is like the people who have shared with me, I've grown, you know, even people I was really close friends with, we've become that much closer and our connection is that much better because they shared with me and I didn't question them. I just believed and I listened and I absorbed. And I think, and that's why like the project is so important because it's important for people. I mean, you can't tell someone that they need to share their trauma. It's up to the person who has experienced it. But if people are able to, it's so important to share that, to know if that person actually truly is one of your people.
Yeah.
Or if there's someone like now, you see all these people who are losing friends, who are losing family. Yeah. And a lot of it, you spent, you know, who knows how much of your life with this person thinking they were someone else because you didn't want to have that conversation. Yeah. And now you feel like so much of that, like, I mean, I've talked to you about how I felt a lot of it was a lie to me. Yeah. Because, you know, once we have those conversations, don't see eye to eye, and it's something that maybe could have been avoided or, you know, could have been talked about and maybe could have helped change somebody's mind and brought them over. And so I think with like this, it's an easy way for people to kind of share in a broad range so that, you know, whether it's their friends and their family, they approach them in a different way, or if it's just for whoever is willing to listen, to start having those uncomfortable conversations.
Yeah, gotta have them.
Yeah, because I mean, it's not like I enjoy listening to these things, but I enjoy.
Who the fuck wants to hear these stories? They're terrible.
I enjoy knowing that about these people, so I can understand them better and I can help them better, and I can be better for them and other like Black people in my community, whether I know them or not.
Yeah, no, it's important. Yeah, I think that's why, like, you know, it's cool that, like, you know, I have this opportunity on a weekly basis to kind of, you know, continue to make it clear how I feel about it, because then it definitely keeps the perimeter around me, and that perimeter is the thing that, you know, it separates the shitty people from the good people. Stuff lately has kind of put people to where, like, we're losing, like you said, losing friends, losing family, like, and people are not doing the right thing. And like, I love continuing to use the stories, the experiences, the conversations that I have with people in the next conversation, then use the info from those two in the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And you keep doing it over and over and over again, to the point where you weed these people out, man. Like if they're struggling to comprehend like what we're standing up and speaking out against, then they don't need to be here. And that's why I think like also what makes your project so powerful is that like that's just another thing that's like in their face. It's in their face. And they is the racist people, these assholes who want to make everybody's life hard because they don't like the fact that they have to share and live on the same plane of existence as everybody else. They're lame for that. Mm-hmm. This is another one of these things that goes in their face. And when they see me looking good in the photo and smiling, and then they see all the people hitting that like button, hey, listen, you want to know a quick way to make a racist mad? Hey, all you got to do is smile at him, baby. That's it. It's easy work. We got to check the time on the music. We got 35 seconds, and then we're going back into the show, baby. And we're going to get into these IG articles. I say that because it's just shit that I have saved on there. I literally do everything on my phone. And it's easy to move some of this stuff from the place where I see it to a note or do anything like that. So when people come on the show, I just say, yo, I'm about to talk about these things I have saved in my freaking IG file. And they come from millions of sources. Well, not millions. I only follow about 800 people. So 800 sources. Get money. Welcome back to Track Talk Radio. It's your host, Markelle Jackson. Yeah, we got the airplanes flying in the back, man. We got to have the window open because it's hot as flames in here, bro. Someday, we'll get to a point where we'll have like the ultimate cooling system, which is just called an air conditioning. And I'll be doing the shows in a crisper, more climatey area. That's not a word. A more climatey area. All right, so I always love to make fun of people who get upset, issue fake apologies when they lose their jobs behind racist rants. So, like last week, I don't think I ever talked about this on the show, but there was some rally where there were hella people out there with their Confederate flags. They was acting all crazy, being wild. And there was this is in Missouri, some woman, she's like a grandma. I kept seeing the title was like grandma, like cussing at protesters. And it literally is her being like, I'm going to teach my grandchildren to hate you all. And then, saying the N-word, doing all that. She lost her job. And then she wanted to come with the apology. I lost my temper. I did. And I said some ugly things. Branson woman from viral video offers apology. I just want it to be known that I'm so sorry for everything that has been said in the video that's been put out there, because that's not me. Bitch, it's you in the video. That's not who I am. That's not what I represent. I don't represent hate. You literally were telling people that you were planning to make sure your grandkids hated their kids. Black Lives Matter. I would absolutely do that. I don't know what she was saying. I missed it. But either way, this dusty ass, and you know who she looks like? You ever seen the guy who plays Kane on WWE? Ever seen him with his mask off? Maybe you haven't. Maybe some of our viewers have. But either way, he's kind of like the real life version, of the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Like, remember the Disney cartoon? Remember how ugly Buddy looked? But like, this dude's famous. It was cool. But this lady looks like that. So no, matter of fact, she just looks like the Hunchback of Notre Dame. This is somebody's ugly ass grandma. And I'm saying that she's ugly as hell because she came with the fakest apology. She said, that's not me in that video. That's not what I represent. Bitch, that's you in the video telling people that you're planning to teach your grandchildren to hate their grandchildren or their children. or whoever is in the vicinity to be hated. You're trying to teach your kids how to be haters. Your grandkids. You probably already taught your kids. So you're teaching a whole busload worth of shitty ass people how to be haters. And then you got on the video talking about it's not you, it's not what you represent. And again, she's ugly as hell. And I feel like I'm being nice. I'm being nice. Let's see. I mean, you didn't even give me no tears, lady. Come on, lady. You want me to believe that you're actually sorry? You didn't even want to shed tears for all the lives you offended. I love when they go to that. I'm sorry for all the people that I've offended. And as she tries to see, she says something to the effect of, I mean, if it would help, I'll even go stand with Black Lives Matter to show that I'm not this person. So basically saying, listen, if it'll make you niggas feel better, I'll go stand over here and I'll pretend to protest with you so that way y'all will get off my ass about being a racist, Hunchback of Notre Dame looking grandmother. Yeah. I mean, bro, you want the whole video? Oh, this is just so crazy. I love it. I love it. That's not me. That's not what I stand for. That's not what I represent. It's not who I am. Nah, it's exactly who you are. We saw who you were on the video with your corny ass. Look like you ain't showered in 9 days. Probably ate a rat for dinner. Fuck, man. Facts. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Yeah, this is crazy, man. This is like we continue to get these every day. This is super crazy. So, Disney is changing the Splash Mountain ride because it's based on a racist movie. What movie is it based on?
I don't remember the name. It's old. It's like part live action, part cartoon, I think. But if you've ever been on Splash Mountain and you didn't feel those vibes, like I was just there and I was
I've never been to Disney, so I don't.
Yeah, it's God, here, I'll see if I can find it.
But anyway, they're gonna rename it after the Princess and the Frog. Well, it's gonna be themed after the Princess and the Frog. Let's see if it actually says right here. The ride, which is famous for its 5-story drop in a long boat, was inspired by the animated sequences in the 1946 film Song of the South. The movie, which actually won an Oscar for its song Zippity Doo Dah, follows a young boy visiting his grandmother's plantation after the Civil War. Its depiction of Black people and its romanticized view of the era has been called out over the years. This is the first that I've heard about this. Which is so crazy. Real quick, we're not going to announce what we're watching, but I want you to watch this part of the movie.
Let me tell you, there's been a lot that's
my God.
in this movie.
So Song of the South. It's what's crazy, man? Like, there's hella songs that are coming out now that people are just now being like, oh, this is racist. I'm like, if we're being completely honest, when you hear songs from back in that time, that's literally the only thing white people really could make music about was how they were oppressing people. Other than that, that's their original content. That's the only original content they have is they make songs about oppressing people. This is the only thing that they're good at. Then they go steal the music from Black people. That's how it all began. I probably just made that up, but does it not feel like that? Look at think about all the little songs that people be out here singing. The national anthem, that's a racist record. And that shit's not even good. That shit is terrible. I think we need to get rid of that. Song of the South, I bet that shit was slapping.
I wonder how many people have actually seen it. Like, I grew up watching a lot of Disney movies. I never saw that.
Never saw it. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not going to dismiss the level of racist that it potentially was, but if we're just now hearing about it, was it that racist? Thinking about other things that have been happening, is this right now worth the hoopla? Or is this just them maybe trying to get ahead of something because they know it's worse than what it actually is? We got a helo flying by. They probably getting ready to fly over to the chop. We're going to talk about that in a little bit too. The chop is crazy. Is the chop a good place or a bad place?
I don't even know
Should
anymore.
I go to the chop tonight? Listen, if you're a viewer that's not in our city, you're probably thinking that the chop sounds like a newly reopened nightclub. No, nigga, I promise you it is not that. It apparently is where it's the no police zone in Seattle. Is that what they're doing? People are just hanging out, doing whatever it is, the F that they want to do. And it's lit. Can you pass me one of those water bottles?
Mm-hmm.
Preach. I don't want to say what movie we're watching because I don't want to spend any time getting into this movie. But this movie has come out recently on Netflix. A lot of people have watched it. Let me set the scene for you. Okay. So hold on. Did you hear about the incident with the NASCAR driver? Yeah, okay. We're going to get into the NASCAR thing too. Let me just talk about this scene of this movie real quick. So I'm not going to tell you what this movie is, but let me just paint a picture for you. Here's a scenario where a dude is trying to win over a girl because he says that he really likes her, damn near loves her. He wants to give her the opportunity to fall in love with him. Some of the steps that he takes to do that is that he physically and mentally abuses her, and he also finds a way to restrain her while he then receives a blowski from another girl in front of the girl he loves. This is before he's trying to convince this other girl that he loves her. And apparently the way you do that is you tell the girl, hey, meet me over to this place. You tie her up just in a robe, and then you proceed to have another girl come in and show you a really good time in front of that girl. And then you give her a speech about her shortcomings and about how she needs to kind of get right. Could you imagine? What would you do if like that was like you're in this situation? You're tied up and then you're let's get to the Bubba Wallace thing. Oh my gosh, Danny said, is that a Tyler Perry movie? No, this is not a Tyler Perry movie. This is not Madea, shakes that ass crack or not. This is none of that. This is something that is, that's sexual assault, right? You can't do that, right?
I don't think he cares.
This is the stuff that Ron Jeremy probably got caught doing. He's facing allegations of sexual assault, rape, all that type of bullshit. Ron Jeremy, y'all know who that is? He's the 67-year-old midget who has a freaking... So he was back in the day, he was slaying, and then, now because he's old and he struggles, he apparently has to take it. Anyway, okay, Bubba Wallace, NASCAR. This is my thing about this. The FBI got involved. They said they went and they investigated. He got a foot long. This your cousin?
Yeah.
So Bubba Wallace, they get the FBI involved, and the FBI comes out and they say that the noose has been hanging there for over a year. So when I said last week on the show that I didn't give two shits about what NASCAR was doing, it was for that reason. Because of shit like that. it's no disrespect to the white folks who really do care and are really putting their best foot forward to be allies and prove that to us on a day in, day out basis. But if we're being honest, some of these big major corporations, they don't give a damn. It's all a way just to keep people quiet for a little bit. They understood that they have somebody who's a representative of both communities that is within their sport, and they want to try to make him happy because he has fans, and those fans pay for tickets. And then there's also sponsorships, and sponsorships fork out big money. This is all a way just for them to make sure that they're stuff. Because how else did you mean to tell me that in a year's time, nobody noticed that there was a noose hanging at their racetracks for hella long, a whole fucking year? You know why no one noticed? Because nobody that works there is a person of color. White people don't really be caring about that shit, especially if the collective don't care. Why would they care? Even if it offends them, they're not gonna, bless you, they're not gonna raise any hell about it or go to HR, because I bet you if they don't have any black people on the staff, they look at it, well, who's it really hurting, right? I guarantee you that's how they look at it. Who is it really hurting if there are no black people here? There's no black people there. Can you imagine if you're actually one of like if there's 10,000 fans at a NASCAR event, 13 of those people are black. Can you imagine if you're one of those 13? Hello, you said bless you. Shout out. Yeah, this shit is crazy, man. There were videos that popped up about Bubba's reaction today on SportsCenter. I didn't watch that shit, man. I mean, shout out to him, bro. You shed some real tears. You're really doing, the damn thing on behalf of your sport. You're trying to rep, and I love it. And I hope you stay safe out there. Hope those people don't give you too hard of a time to where you want to fold. But I also think that, like, bro, they can have NASCAR, bro. We don't have to have everybody. Not everybody has to become a believer, a follower, or some of y'all can stay where you're at. It shouldn't have to be something that we have to beg y'all to do. It is voluntary. It's all suggestion based, but we're asking you to not be shitty people and hate people based on the color of their skin, and not think that it's okay for people to die at the hands of police at a fucking instant. That's all. Well, I don't need NASCAR to pretend that there's some big advocate for black people, because they were nowhere to be found the last 400 years, like all of these other major corporations. And so, what's crazy? I was in a conversation with somebody this morning, and they were telling me about an African-American gentleman who's looking at trying to create charter schools and potentially only teach black subject matter. And I said that although I think that could be a good idea, I also think that that's kind of, as far as curriculum is concerned, I think that's a stupid idea. You have to teach the white stuff too, because you have to teach our kids how to play the game. This type of shit is a part of the game. Them pretending that they didn't know that noose was up there for a year is a part of the game. Them all walking and pushing his car to the front and pretending that everything is like, oh, all of a sudden we're all these major advocates. That is a part of the game. They have to learn in the same way that white folks do. That way they can build their survival kits. That way the playing field is as close to level as it possibly can be. It will be dope as hell if you send every black kid to a school that only teaches their subject matter. But you got to think, if they live in the United States of America, all of the structures are created and built to help benefit white people. If the black kids never learn any of that stuff, how do they break into those systems? Unless the plan for 2020 is that we infiltrate and crush and destroy and rebuild every single thing imaginable, which isn't possible. I don't disagree with the idea of having something that is set up specifically for black people, but I also believe that a lot of those types of things already exist. And although they exist, they still have their faults too, man, because then you get some of these people who are like, oh, well, guess what? It's really F every single white person imaginable. And here's what they're not telling you. And we want to make sure that you guys are proactive and you're ready just for the war aspect of it and da. And it's F these people and blah, blah. Like, nah, bro, because then we're literally doing what we're complaining about. That's the only reason why I'm saying we got to make sure that everything is done right. So in the same way in which we're asking people to like, do their background, do their homework on people that they hire. When you create structures like this, you got to make sure that integrity is maintained with the people who work there too. Because it's not about like the structures themselves when they start, and all the intentions are wonderful in most cases. It's the people that fuck them up. You got to make sure you have the right people. So yeah, charter school like that, fantastic idea. Who's running it? And if you say one wrong name, then it's not a good idea. Half the time these people be naming these people, that's a great idea. It's a terrible person to have in charge of that. It is what it is, man. Let me stop. Let's see. Let's get into Sean King real quick. What do you know about Sean King? And not Sean Kingston, not the freaking, what is he, a rapper, R&B singer? This is just Sean King.
He's one of those guys, I feel like I've seen his name a lot around situations like we've had recently.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of, to me, it was always just kind of a social media voice of someone who spoke out for human rights. You know, and I never felt like he was crazy or radical. It was just, you know, it seemed like a person who was not afraid to just kind of tell it like it is.
Yeah.
So recently I've like started diving into a little bit more, doing my own research on different people and stuff. And like he has started, like, whether he started it or is just a part of like that, like the grassroots, I think, movement and like getting stuff changed.
I don't know. I try not. I don't really. I'm gonna say this about people who are heavy participants in activism. I would say up until recently, I have not been a big like. I don't follow a lot of these people closely because I'm just somebody that like I try to keep my head down, because when I react to things, it usually results in like. I just try to keep my head down. And so even when it comes to like following these people, like I only really saw him pop up like when people were getting brutalized, beat down, all these things. So to me, he was like, you know, if every decade there's like a new version of these types of people, he's just a new type of Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, Farrakhan. He's like these types of guy, which is good. You know, someone who has a voice, can speak to the people. The people believe in his efforts and what he stands for. So I think it's wonderful. I've never gotten the feeling that he is somebody that needed to be killed for what he was talking about. So it's crazy that there are like a whole gang of white people who want to have him killed. Okay, quick update on the film. Apparently, everything that this guy has done up until this point, it worked. It worked. Because now he is finally in the position where it's Blowski time. From the girl that he actually loves.
Didn't he just push her off the boat?
He did just throw her off the boat, though. I don't know if he threw her off the boat. They scuffled, which is so, again, mental, physical, emotional abuse, a quick scuffle, a toss off of the yacht. I guess if you're going to get thrown off of a boat, it might as well be a yacht. And as long as the nigga's going to jump in and save you afterward. Let's see. He's the guy getting threatened by the cops. Yeah, Daddy, yes. That's who Sean King is. He's the guy who's getting threatened by police apparently today. And I had seen it this morning when I got up at about 5 a.m. Sean said, hey, I have something I'm working on for you guys, and it'll be up in a few hours. And I'm just thinking, okay, maybe it's just another video. No, it's just him compiling all these tweets and conversations and threads and and I'm not laughing at him. I'm laughing at the movie. But all these things, and it's literally like these white folks who are, I think they're either former or current law enforcement officials or officers, and they're plotting on how to murder my guy, which is so crazy. And my only thing is, I would say this. I pray for the safety for his family, because you hope that it doesn't come down to them wanting to take him down all because he's somebody who had been brutalized by police, decided to speak out against the things that he did not believe in, which is the way in which they treat people. And then, to be a good advocate for so many people for so many years, then to just be killed because white people just can't stand the heat and pressure that they're under. It's not that hard, people. If you don't do this corny shit, you don't have to worry about any of this. You know how cool it is? I'm somebody who used to get in trouble a lot as a kid. You know how nice it is not getting in trouble now as an adult? And you know why that doesn't happen as an adult? Because I mind my own goddamn business. And I keep my hands to myself. And I treat people with respect. You don't have to like everybody. You don't have to hang out with everybody. You don't have to be best friends with everybody. You can just be cool, mind your own damn business, and shut the hell up. Right? Am I right or am I right?
Yeah. Well, the craziest thing to me is, like, even if you want to be mad at him, if you're a cop, like, because he's speaking out against things that, like, maybe you take personally, not once has he, like, asked for them to, like, be killed. Like, he's not.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, he's not saying like, "Yo, go out there and fuck him up." Like, no, he's just like, "Hey, can we get some justice, please? I'd like some justice, please." That's all he wants is justice, and they're like, "Nah, fuck this guy. We gotta kill him now. He's asking for too much." Yeah, it's so crazy, bro. Oh my god, white people. Sorry. But no, I'm not, because that's what it is, man. It really is that. It's not like my guy is on here. Like, think about this. Think about all the rap songs that you hear. Think about all the movies that you see. All the amount of times news representatives and all these people disrespect. This is the guy that they want killed. They want to kill Sean. They don't want to kill anybody else who's ever said anything or done anything. Now, think about this. Some of these guys probably have daughters. They don't want to kill. They don't want to kill the Tangerine Terror. Somebody gave me that cut down. I had never heard that, and someone said that to me the other day. I thought it was the funniest thing I'd ever heard. So I wanted to say that. I worked it in perfectly. Seamless efforts on my parts. Anyway, they probably have kids. They have daughters. You don't want to hurt the guy that's like thinks it's okay to abuse children. You don't want to hurt any of these guys who are rich billionaires who, circumvent all the laws and da-da-da-da-da. You want to hurt the guy who would just like the police to be held accountable. And even if you're mad, you're only mad if you are a shady cop and you know that your cover is about to be blown. It's the only reason they're mad. Is because they do shady bullshit on the side when they work that job. Sean, I hope you're going to be all right, bro, because you know how these cops are, man. They don't be playing. Like I said, I've been followed before. I've had people watching the house before, and I was nobody. I was just some wannabe. So I'm not even going to say what I was out there doing. I was just trying to thug it unsuccessfully. And I wasn't even really trying to be a thug. I was just, trying to be a little bit more gangster than what the average human should be. Unsuccessful. I was terrible at gangster. Yeah, you put the W on the front for me. I'm okay with it because that's the category I fit into. I was not doing gang shit, but cops still like they want to fool with you. They really don't want to fool with me because I was black. I still am black, but I was black. Now I'm black. Well, I've been out here getting sun. Boy, I've been on this bike. Oh my God. I'm out here looking like the real dark chocolate. But you know what, man? I've embraced it. I look good. I'm the best of the best, so why bother with the rest? Wine and dine myself just to get myself undressed. Anyway, this is crazy, man. I hope Sean's gonna be okay. And you know what? This is the thing, though. And I hope some of these cops, they see this. Even if y'all take him down, we got 5 more ready to go. I'll be one of those 5. I'll pop up right in his place. Well, matter of fact, we need to send this to Sean. Sean, go ahead and send a freaking substitute lesson plan. If you end up needing to take some days off, bro, let us know where we need to pick up, and help you out. And I know not there. Listen, I'll also say this: not everything Buddy says or does is something I agree with. I thought he was jumping out the window last week when he was talking about go to all the churches and take all the pictures of Jesus down. I'm like, all right, my man. I know you want the statues and stuff, but like every picture of Jesus, there won't be a church in America that has fucking windows at that point. Everybody gonna have a window open. That some of that stuff is a little bit wild to me, but for the most part, when he's talking about, listen, we need to bring these cops to justice, like Breonna Taylor's killers still roaming around free like freaking nasty ass freaking trash pandas. I'm tired of it, man. How? Tell me how. Can't be explained. Actually, it can be. White people get to do whatever the hell they want to do. And I know that it's so crazy. And I say crazy things on this show, but everything I'm saying is facts, right? Mm-hmm. See? It confirmed it. She's white. Don't even try to say I set her up for that one, because I think that's her genuine feeling, is that it's true. This shit is so crazy, man. 3 suspects officially indicted in Ahmaud Arbery murder case, facing 9 counts each. Markelle, look at these goofy motherfuckers.
I laughed out loud when I saw that today, of just like...
I wish y'all can't see it that far. I wish I could see how stupid they all look. Hella stupid. It's still not enough, though. The indictments, I mean, even the conviction sometimes is not. It's never enough, because you're trading a life for a conviction. It's never a fair trade. Sorry, I'm stuttering. It's never a fair trade. It's weird to me that like some of these things can be so clear cut, and yet even like on those final moments before verdicts are read and da, Black people are always still like, well, fuck. There's still a chance it could go the other way. And I honestly, listen, I'm not an idiot. I know that white folks experience that same type of stuff when they're in court. Women experience, even when it's clear cut, women experience that when they're in court against, abusers and things like that. Think about if you're that girl who was the victim with Brock Turner. Like, you had witnesses, you had everything, and then even in those last moments, it goes the other way. It's like nothing you can do about it. And so it's good that indictments have been handed down, but like it does make me wonder, like, are they going to do the right thing? Or are we going to get to those final moments and they're going to, something's going to happen, or it's going to mistrial, or like all of a sudden there's going to be some new crazy evidence that they make up or some shit like that. I mean, you just really don't know. It makes me nervous a little bit. I mean, because look at this shit. Breonna Taylor's killers still roaming around free. They don't be caring. And if they wanted to fix the stuff, they would fix it. They choose not to. Sad and pathetic. Justice for Ahmaud. I feel like it's going to happen. What do you think?
If it doesn't, it's going to be real, real bad. People think this is bad. If the people who are being tried for these things don't actually have to pay, like justice isn't actually served, this is just like the tip of the iceberg.
I'm telling you. You saw how people already been acting. I can't imagine what life will be like if the judge goes and we find the defendants not guilty. I think the world will explode. How could it not? I can't imagine what I'll be on this show talking about this if we hear that shit in that case. Or if we go another 10 days, 15 days, another day of Breonna Taylor's killers not being arrested. Who knows what the Sunday show is going to look like? How? I don't even understand how that can happen. They killed her. They went into her home and they shot the shit up and they killed her. One guy's been fired, but that took how long? 3 months? It took 3 months just for him to lose his job. Three months for him to lose his job. It take cops 0.3 seconds to decide niggas are guilty before they unload that clip on their ass. This shit crazy. Like I want to go get donuts tonight. I don't even know if it's safe. I mean, it is because it's just down the street. But still, even down the street, man. Even down the street is crazy. Because it only takes a second. I think about that day that shit happened to me. I literally was only driving to see my girl at the time just to drop off some shirts to her. And then I was going back home. I wasn't even planning to be out long. This is like a, hey, what's cracking? Here's your shit. And I'm going back to the house. They was trying to send me to that grave, boy. Trying to send me to the grave, boy. I almost want to do my video for your project right now. We should just use the footage from the shows. Compile it. The amount of times I have to say how bullshit it is that we have to walk around being in fear for our lives and our safety. How crazy it is that, you know, a cop can approach you and, you know, I was telling you about a video the other day where it's this guy, check this out. This guy goes to Western Union. You ever done Western Union? You know it's kind of a process. So he's waiting until he knows that money's been received, exchanged, whatever, you know, because you want to protect your investment, whether you're sending it or receiving it. He doesn't have a vehicle, so he walks up to the place that does the Western Union. They literally have him on tape, you know, doing his thing. He's walking around. Somebody calls the cops on him. When he goes to leave, the cops harass him. And you can literally see it on the video where they're asking him all these questions. Where you going? He's like, look, I was at the Western Union. He's like, well, what are you doing? I'm just walking around, killing time, blah, blah, blah. You can see on the one cop's body cam footage, this other fat, garbage, fucking loser ass cop walks up behind the black guy, immediately grabs him by his arms. He then wraps him up. And then in 2 seconds, he literally suplexes Buddy, slams on the ground. My guy's got broken ribs. And then you hear other cops come up and they go, this isn't the dude with the warrant? And you hear one cop go, oh, shit. Oh, man, we fucked up. Oh, we made a mistake. Yeah. And I get it because people make mistakes and that's understandable. But you know where you messed up is that when he's telling you what he's doing, rather than you just being like, okay, well, let's check on it. You try to jam him up or not telling your partner to relax when he starts walking up all hot. The second he grabs him, you should have told your partner, yo, partner, relax. We're just talking to him. He's not doing nothing. There's no need to grab him like that. That's the problem with you stupid motherfuckers is that when you don't do the little things. And now you're all mad because people are pissed off about it. All you have to do is do the little things. Even in those moments, you can police yourself. You should have told your man that he was doing too much. And then when they slam Buddy on the ground, then all of a sudden they want to be like, oh, it's okay, Buddy. Stay right here. We're going to get you some help. Ambulance is on the way. My man just got up, didn't even want the ambulance. Said he wanted to get the fuck away from them. You got people out here refusing help and resources because they would rather be away from the police. My man probably thought the ambulance was a setup. He'd rather just walk the fuck away. It's crazy. Broken ribs. He's suing the department for $700,000 or something like that. They're getting off light because I would have been like, $10 million. And I would have been saying it all fucking day in their faces. So I want $10 million. You going to slam me and break my ribs for no damn reason, not treat me with any respect or ask me any questions. I'm talking about the dude specifically who slammed him. You're not going to ask any questions, bro. It's crazy. to watch him walk up behind the guy and then just hit him with the hey, and then the hey, scooped him and boomed him. It was over. And my man was hurt. Like, they don't even care. It's crazy to think that there are still so many white folks who can watch those videos and literally be like, I thought you were showing me a problem. This is it? Well, he should have just done what he told him. He wouldn't have got slammed. Or maybe he should just not be black. They might as well say that. Maybe he or she should just not be black. Wouldn't it be cool if when you were getting pulled over, you could just like hit the button and it'll turn you white, and then you go from being whoever you are to like Derek Stevens, who has 3 kids and a wife and a mother-in-law at home. Like you could just like you could switch to a whole new identity, and then your life would be preserved. I know that sounds crazy, but think about how funny that would be. You're like driving around, whoop whoop. Oh shit! You straighten up. Hello, officer. How are you, pal? And then you get like a whole new voice and everything. And then the guy finds out that you guys have playing the same bowling league, which is not a thing. You don't ever see him. And then he lets you go. It's not the worst idea I've ever had, but it's definitely not the best. It's top 37 worst ideas of all time. It's like the 36th one. So it's pretty good. It's still pretty good. All right, man. Let's see. What else we got? I just want to love you. No. I hate whenever I go to open up my apps, and every app has like a live function now. So you go to open up the freaking app, and then all of a sudden it pops up as somebody's doing something that's live. But all of my notifications come across as like the top banner. So and then everything you want to do is at the top of the screen. So I feel like I'm always clicking into people's live streams, and I'm like, yo, and people don't want to watch me live. So I know that it's probably just karma, because every time I click on a live thing, I go, oh, nope, get me the fuck up out of here. I ain't trying to watch this shit. That could have been Buddy talking about, hey, first person to enter gets $10 million, and I would have been like, yeah, get me the fuck out of here, man. These niggas ain't doing nothing. Could have just missed $10 million. I know that's not a thing, but it could have been. The NFL season. COVID-19 finally has tackled the NFL, forcing the Pro Football Hall of Fame to cancel the August 6th Cowboys versus Steelers opening preseason game in Canton, Ohio. Every year, early August, this is when they do the Hall of Fame game. I literally said that when I announced what the game was. It's a preseason game. Honestly, I know the guys need the reps, but if we miss the first 4 weeks of football due to COVID, it's not that big of a deal, because that's just a couple of preseason games. Niggas don't want to play in that anyway. And most people don't want to watch that shit anyway. Well, how are you feeling about football this year? Are you excited about football? You're a Seahawks fan, right?
I am, and a Husky fan.
Huskies.
Well, yeah.
Let me stop. No, there's no shade at the Huskies. I don't really care.
Even if I can't go, I don't go to a ton of games, so I'm not going to be heartbroken if they don't have fans. But if they don't have it, but what will they do with the preseason and like making cuts to your roster and things? Because those are kind of how you.
What they'll probably do is, a lot of teams do. If they're allowed, they do like joint practices anyway. So maybe they'll use the practices and those joint little scrimmages just to evaluate the talent and then make their cuts from there. But all it really will do ultimately is it'll just make it to where, like, if any of your starters get hurt early on in the season, a lot of those early games will be kind of rough, because you're going to be cutting people without having seen them actually play games, they were only playing scrimmages where the contact is way less because they're not really allowed to hit a whole bunch at practice for safety concerns. So you kind of would just be like, you're basically cutting people like because of a speed drill, this and that. You're not necessarily cutting them because they didn't make plays in a game or something. And you're maybe not keeping a guy who maybe sucks at practice but could be a crazy gameplay type of player. You're not going to keep him because you're not going to have that tape on him.
Right.
I mean, you think like, fuck, man. I mean, like even like Doug was undrafted, and then you think like his preseason, well, like the first or second game, he ran back like 105-yard, kick return for a touchdown. Like, if they don't play those preseason games and my man doesn't have that opportunity, like, what's to say that his, chances of making it and, being, one of the best, well, like, that probably doesn't happen for him. And it probably doesn't happen for a lot of guys. So I think it'll be interesting to see what actually happens with this football stuff, man. I think the COVID thing, I don't know. With football, it's tough because it's like all they do is touch each other. So like, and like in basketball they do too, but like, what do you do about that? Like, what are you supposed to do? But like everything that they're saying is leading us to believe that we're gonna have sports. Like, but how do you do that if like the whole thing is like, well, we don't want people so close, but it's like, well, they have to be close and they have to touch each other. That's part of the game. What are you supposed to do?
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, well, we got a few more minutes of the live stream. I've started to cut the live streams early. That way the station can just play the music because I love letting the music just run. But a couple of things. We did talk about the chop a little bit. I kind of want to go down there and see it, but I'm going down there daytime only. Because that's just the smartest thing to do. I'm not going to that shit in the evening time. The chop sounds crazy. What else has been going on? I've been doing home workouts, but I was doing home workouts like running like 1.5 miles and then doing a bunch of stairs. And then I got a bike. And now I only ride the bike to the park to play basketball, which isn't bad, but like it's not that far of a ride. So although it is kind of a challenge, I am pushing myself. It's a tough ride sometimes, because my bike, well, it's not the bike, it's the rider. The rider gets gas quick. So it feels like a challenge, but then it also kind of is like, did I really just abandon all my working out just to go hoop? And now I ride my bike a little bit. Like, am I getting in shape still doing that? I mean, I probably am, but it doesn't feel like it. I don't know. Do you have any advice for anybody who's struggling with home workouts right now? Are you someone who's been struggling with home workouts?
No, I do. I've never had a gym membership.
Oh, look at you. You're one of those people.
Well, I'm cheap. And my degree is in exercise science. So I learned how to adapt and do things and like build workouts. So it's easy for me to do on my own.
Well, with that being said, what advice do you have for the people who are struggling?
Find an accountability buddy, especially if it's something new that you haven't, done before. And like, I know the motivation to go to the gym, like helps people like getting out of the house and doing that. So find somebody who is of a similar mindset or somebody who just cares about you and wants to see you like succeed.
Yeah.
And have an accountability buddy, even if you don't check in every day, knowing that they might send you what they did or ask how your day was, it's going to help motivate you. And right now, like there's a ton of resources to utilize. My friend finds like YouTube workouts for her like little like stationary bike. They're like hip hop cycling and like there was a Like Pride Month one that had a lot of Lady Gaga on it that she said was fun. There's all kinds of free resources. And like I've developed my own little gym with like a couple of dumbbells and kettlebells.
There you go. It's easy. Well, it's not easy, but it can be if you want it to be. Let's see. Do I have any shout outs, any ads? No. You know what, man? I'm gonna be honest, and I let the people who needed to know, I let them know this before in the beginning, but was not doing shout outs or doing ad reads for people if they weren't gonna rep the show. People are not repping my show, so fuck their fucking ads. That's what I have to say about that. Because we're in a time where support is key. And I don't like the fact that people, they want to be supported, they want their stuff read, but then they don't give two shits about this fucking show. So you know what? Kiss my ass. You want your ad read? Then actually rep and support my fucking show like you claim you fucking will. And until then, your ad can go eat its own asshole. 10 things I'd rather do than hear another garbage apology. I'm only going to name the first 3. I'd rather get stung by one of those freaking big-ass hornets that we were waiting for. I'd rather... eat an oyster off of the gym floor at a middle school. Let's see. My third thing that I'd rather do than have to hear another garbage apology. I'd rather go back through and redo all of my taxes from the last 15 years than have to hear another stupid ass apology from one of these dumb white folks who can't seem to understand that it's not in your best interest to see a video, then go on the internet and then go on there and say how much you do not like black people or whatever the case may be. So as we close out our show, we want to get into this. So Markelle, you are a head soccer coach as well as a head track coach for a high school, Bethel High School to be exact. I want to say you worked closely, but you knew the gentleman who got fired from your school for the whole putting the knee on the neck and pretending like it didn't matter thing. And now there's another person. So because we don't have a ton of time, I just want to ask 1 or 2 quick questions. And my first one is, how do you think things will be when you guys come back in the fall for your district specifically?
I think every year we have a big meeting where we get training in how to be equitable, and all these things to kind of prevent, stuff like that happening. I think that is some people don't come, this and that. I think that's going to start being its own thing, which I think is a positive to come from this. And I think there's going to be a lot less wiggle room. If people, say things, whatever, I think it's going to be, I think they're going to take it a lot more seriously, little things that could lead to bigger things.
Yeah.
Obviously they've done the right thing with the situations that happened, but I think if there's something that could hint at someone, having those underlying tones of racism or hatred towards a group of people, I think they're going to look into them sooner to prevent something like this from happening.
Yeah. So I will ask this though, and this is coming from someone who's not a native to the state, doesn't really know the place like a lot of other people do, but is it weird that we're now expecting them to do the right thing, but like, isn't the area where like a lot of these schools are in your district, like this is areas that are mainly these types of white people though?
Yeah, I mean, the area that we're in is very, it gets to be really rural. I grew up in part of the rural area. I'm not, I'm kind of probably an exception to what most people would call a rural, me and my whole family. But I mean, yeah, just like with anyone, the further you get from a city, the more you kind of see those kinds of things. And we're out there. The crazy thing about the newest one is it's in an area where white people are not the biggest population in that school. The students are, I don't know about the teachers. I'm sure the teaching staff is probably still mostly Caucasian, but I mean, less than 40% of the students there are.
That's not going to matter.
No, but it's just
people. It's the educators. It's,
Yeah, no, I agree. But, yeah, I mean, I guess there's something to be said about the area. Maybe people feel like it's where they can go because of where it's at.
Yeah.
And that's a place for them, because neither of them were teachers.
They were just asshole coaches, huh?
Mm-hmm. So.
Just two assholes. Sorry for the foul language. It needed to be said. And I'm only saying that because my thing is this. Both of you were in positions where you worked with kids. You had the opportunity to influence good habits upon children. And yet, this is how you opt to handle a crisis. This is what this is. So this is a crisis, and your kids wanted to see how you were going to react. And you showed us how you reacted to a crisis. You didn't use this as an opportunity to educate yourself or go teach people if you had experience or knew these things. You opted to show that you were a dum-dum. And then you played yourself out of an opportunity. So if coaching was something that you really liked to do and then you enjoyed, I'm sure you'll probably get another job, but it's only going to be in an environment where your racism and your ignorance is tolerated. And then think about how much fun that will be for you. There's no growth for you in a place like that because you're not around people who have like and open-mindedness. You're around a bunch of suckers. So now you've cost yourself an opportunity to be the ultimate educator, leader, and coach. You probably are not ever going to be the best coach that you could have been because you're squandering away opportunities based on the fact that you're insecure and you can't get out of your own way. It's pathetic. Very pathetic. Markelle, how's your mental health?
Just one day at a time.
One day at a time. We got people in the chat. One day at a time. Yeah, that's kind of how I am, man. My mental health is not. It's not great, but it's not bad because I've gotten to the point where I've just any and all feelings that I may have had, like I've kind of just they're just in off mode. So I'm kind of just on some try to shit if you want to. I don't know what will happen. I just know that prepare for any scenario when it comes with me. I can't say whether or not someone's like, how do you think tomorrow will go for you? I don't fucking know. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow is technically 12:01, right? 12:01 a.m. is tomorrow. That's the most I know about tomorrow. That's kind of where I'm leaving it. But I mean, honestly, I've had some pretty good days, man. I've been on this war zone heavy, not good, but it's good stress relief. Cussing at people, but it's crazy to think today when I got on, some of the first things that I hear, it's like 10, 11, 12-year-old kids, and we're this and we're that, F them this, porch monkey this, kill that. It's crazy the amount of kids, and you can tell that they're children. That's probably just shit that they hear around the house. They just hear that, and then they get on the video game, and they're like, yeah, I'm gonna say this too. I heard my dad say this to my uncle, and they were laughing about it. Thought it was funny. I'm trying to be funny at school, so let me say this shit. I'm not gonna say that there's no hope. This shit is iffy. All right, man. Thank you for tuning in. It's been the Meaningful Jackson Show. We had another great show. Thank you to our special guest, Miss Markelle Gallagher. Shout your stuff out real quick. Let them know about your project one more time. And
the project's called I Am Right Now. It's a project kind of in support of Black Lives, not kind of, it's in support of Black Lives Matter in a way that tells people's individual stories through conversations between me and them, and then personalized portrait sessions, so that, either it's something they just have for themselves to show their family, kids, whatever the case may be, or to share with other people. It is completely free, all of it. You get all of your photos. You're not just participating for free. You get your photos. You get to have them, do what you want with them, just to help share stories, to help educate. Because I'm learning that the easiest way to learn and the way that kind of sticks the best is to hear stories from real people that are in your community that you know or that you can relate to, because they're not just someone far away on a TV. It's a real person in a real scenario. It's really just a good way to learn and educate yourself and be better.
I like it. You're going to shout out your social media?
Oh, yeah. Markelle EG Photography on Facebook. Email is markellegphotography@gmail.com. And Instagram is markelle.egphotography. Markelle.eg.photography. There's a lot of letters. But I'm on the major platforms. Come find me.
All right. There you have it. I will be back on Sunday, and we will not be doing video. We'll be radio only. So tune in for Sunday show live on tracktalkradio.com. And then I'll be back again. Tuesday is our last show for the month of June, and then we go right into July. So get your fireworks ready. It's gonna be lit. That's all I gotta say. All right, man. If you're listening on Track Talk Radio, man, we're gonna get back into this music, and then if you're on the YouTube stream, it's been real. Hey, they're showing you some love in the chat.
I know. I just saw. I was just trying to.
Hey, all right.
Read that.
Say your goodbyes because I'm cutting it off.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you guys later.